Hey guys, it's Zang, and today I'm going to be sharing a Thanksgiving recipe that's built around one of my favorite ingredients, kimchi. I feel like every Thanksgiving table has either stuffing, you call it either stuffing or dressing. I kind of wanted to jazz it up a little bit with some interesting ingredients in there while still staying true to my favorite side dish. So we're gonna make some kimchi, apple, sausage, stuffing, and I think it should come out pretty good. I'm gonna start by getting some kimchi. So first of all, my favorite kimchi brand is this one right here with the lady and the hanbok. I think it's called like Osinet, but I got this from H Mart, and I'm starting to see it around other stores like Ranch. But if you can't find it, another good alternative is the one from Trader Joe's. They actually are pretty good. But I like to just scoop out my kimchi. I'm gonna use about 2 cups worth here. And this is something that Nate taught me. Instead of getting the cutting board all like juicy and messy, because it is pretty watery, like you get a lot of the liquid with it when you scoop it out. Instead of cutting it on a cutting board and losing all that goodness, put it in a bowl and get your kitchen shears and just cut away. So I don't want it too small. I just want it into maybe like 1-inch pieces. So I'm just gonna stop once it gets there. This looks pretty good. The slices are not super even, but that's okay because I feel like you want a good bite of the kimchi in all the stuffing. Like, this is pretty genius. My hands are clean. My cook area is still clean. Everything looks good. Okay, now I'm gonna set this aside. And then let's see, like I said, I'm gonna build the ingredients around kimchi. So I wanna find things that complement it. I have some onions that I'm gonna dice up. I also have mushrooms that I love, but now I'm using 2 types of mushrooms. Nate doesn't like mushrooms, but I do. So since I'm making it, it's going in. Just some that I have left over. Oh, this one's not good. But I like adding mushrooms. I think it would go really well with the kimchi, apples, of course, and then we have hot Italian sausage. I'm using pork sausage because kimchi and pork are just a match made in heaven, and then some celery that I'm just gonna dice up. So while you guys catch up with the ingredients, if you're trying to make this with me, I'm gonna cut up my vegetables. Oh, for the apples, I'm using honeycrisp because it doesn't get mushy when you cook it up. And it just has like the perfect balance of tartness and sweetness all in one. Apples are done. Now the onion, I'm just gonna cut it roughly the same size, diced. I'm gonna give these a quick wash since they come kind of dirty. So in terms of mushroom variety, the store I went to only had these white, but I really like cremini. And if you really wanted to get fancy, you can get like the oyster or shiitake even. Shiitake would go really well with this, I feel like. I'm gonna add some celery to this too. You don't have to because you already have the crunch from the apples, but I do think any vegetables that you can sneak in, the more the better. That is done. We have garlic. Let's chop up 2 cloves of garlic, and then let's talk about our herbs. Usually for this recipe, if I didn't use the kimchi, I would use rosemary and thyme, but because the kimchi already has a lot of just like its own flavors that we really want it to shine through, I don't know if it's gonna pair well with thyme, so I'm just sticking with something really basic, chives. Okay, I'm using 4 garlic cloves. Alrighty, now we can start cooking. So for this recipe, I'm going to attempt to make it a 1-pot dressing, just so we don't have to dirty too many dishes, and it's just more convenient this way. I have this 3.5 quart Le Creuset that's oven safe because I'm gonna bake it off later. But if you have like a Dutch oven, I feel like that could work too. I'm just gonna serve everything directly from here. But I'm gonna heat this up on medium high and then melt some butter. I'm just adding 1 tablespoon of butter in there, not too much. Now I'm gonna add the onions and saute it for like 2 minutes until it's nice and translucent and smells really good. Now I'm gonna add the celery and garlic. Cook it up for a minute, and then we're gonna add our sausage. I have 2 whole sausages here. I'm just gonna remove the casing and then crumble it up with the vegetables. Okay, once it's starting to look like it's almost cooked through, that's when I'm gonna add the apples and the mushrooms. So I'm just gonna cook this down until all of the liquid evaporates, and then we're gonna hit it with some extra flavor. Season it with a little bit of salt, not too much. Now I'm just gonna make a tiny little well, or a pretty decent sized well, in the middle, and that's where we're gonna add our kimchi. Bring the heat back up to like pretty high. We're gonna try to caramelize the kimchi so it brings out all the flavor. Okay, so now I'm just gonna leave it alone to sit and like just caramelize for like 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes, until the liquid all evaporate and just starts to do its thing. This smells so good. So now I'm gonna turn off the heat. Like all those brown spots, it just adds to the flavor of everything. You got like the fennel flavor from the Italian sausage, the sweetness from the apples. It's all gonna come together so well. Okay, so last step, we just need our herbs or herb and bread and broth. So for this, I like using, usually for when I make my stuffing, I love cornbread, but I feel like with everything going on, I kind of needed something a little bit more structured that really absorbs the flavor too. So I'm doing a combination of cornbread and ciabatta. You guys can totally buy the already packaged ones. I like getting the fresh ones and then letting it sit out for a day, so it's a day or 2 old, and then it gets like nice and stale like this. I just cut it up. So this is something you can definitely do ahead. If you're for it, bake the cornbread ahead of time, or if you want to do lazy mode, get these store package ones, or go to the store's bakery and get some. Snip in the herbs. I'm just doing 1-inch pieces. So now I'm gonna add broth into the whole mixture. I went with the ciabatta first, and then we're still gonna have to add the cornbread, but cornbread breaks down very easily, at least the fresh one does. So I'm gonna add it in once I mix in all the broth. Pour in the rest of the broth and mix again. All right. So because I'm gonna serve this directly from the pan, I want it to look kind of beautiful. So I'm gonna snip a little bit of herbs to mix it on top. I like seeing the pops of greens, or you could just sprinkle it at the end too when it's done baking, but I kind of like it rustic like this. And now I just bake it off in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes at 400 degrees until it's like golden brown, puffy, and beautiful. And here's our kimchi apple sausage masterpiece. Stuffing, dressing, whatever you want to call it. I really want to try this. There was one more component I feel like I could have added, but let's try it first and then we'll see if I should. Gotta get some kimchi, apples. All right, I have a little bit of everything in this bite, so it's very complete. It's really good as is. Okay, so I feel like it's pretty well balanced. There's a sweetness from the cornbread and the apples already, so you don't need anything else on that end. What I thought I could have added was a little bit of sesame oil, but I feel like that would have taken it too far to the Asian flavors, and then it would almost mask like the sweetness of the cornbread and then the Italian sausage. So the only thing I would change from this actually is I would have added the thyme. I feel like that would have complemented it so well, and yeah, that's all I would do. Maybe salt it a little bit more, but otherwise I feel like this is pretty solid. So I hope you guys enjoyed me testing a recipe in real time. If you guys end up making it, be sure to tag me on Instagram at honeysuckle, because I would love to see and reshare your creations too. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Hopefully I can bring you guys more Thanksgiving ideas. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!